Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is the Upper Tier Podcast. If you could subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button, and drop a like on the video, we would really appreciate it. It's Monday. It's the Monday mashup. I have returned from my travels. Had a great weekend with Dazzler from the Thursday show, and Ben and Christian, the forwards, went over for the Liverpool game, but we had great crack all weekend. Joining me as always tonight, my partner in crime, the resident referee himself, Marky. How are we, pal?
I'm all good, cuz. I'm all good. I'm glad you had a good trip. Unfortunately, the result didn't go your way, but it's always a good experience, isn't it, going over to a match and experiencing the atmosphere, especially yesterday, with the 97, which we'll talk about later in the show.
Absolutely. Well, the worst thing about it is when you go on a trip like that is you can't guarantee the result. But I think I was saying to you before we started there, I'm following Liverpool now 45 years. And in 45 years, that's the first time I see them lose live. I've been quite lucky, and I've had some really, really good ones as well. I had the Watford was a 5-0 or 6-0 or something like that.
Yeah.
I was at the Arsenal one in the Carabao Cup that went to a penalty shootout and all that stuff with Curtis Jones and James Milner and all stuff like that. So I've had some really, really good ones. So I've been lucky. But yesterday was very disappointing, and we'll get into it as part of the review anyway. So really, really disappointing.
Yeah, I've been to a few in Old Trafford like that before. I went to the Porto game. Remember, Mourinho slid down the sideline on his knees and all, and I was right up the top of the North Stand, and that's some walk down after you've lost. Like, when you win, obviously you're buzzing, and but when you lose, it's a much longer walk. Like,
yeah, and I have to say we'll talk about it as part of the game, but the 97 in the Cup yesterday was absolutely phenomenal to see. And also, I have to tip my hat to the Crystal Palace fans as well. The 1 minute silence was impeccable. So from that point of view, absolutely hats off to them, Crystal Palace, and well done to them as well. We'll talk about it during the result. They were very, very good. But quite a race, isn't it? But let's get into some comments first before we get into it, and then we go into some other stuff. Romy One Kenobi, how are you, my friend? Good to see you. One Sammy Smodics. One Sammy.
Hey, go on the Morris.
Doing well. Williams in, how are you?
What's up, well?
Morris is in the voodoo there. And you know, Morris, this was my fear. That he'd be there for me. And in fairness to him, he was good. He didn't hit me too hard. Emery, the man has minerals. He does have minerals.
Big time.
Joanne, hello. Joanne was talking to me today on Instagram.
How are you, Joanne? Hope you're keeping well.
Might be in quite a therapy session. I can share. Appreciate that, Joanne. And Daz is in. What's the crack, Niall? How are you, Daz?
How are you, Daz?
As good as I can be, let's say.
Good man, the Daz.
After experiencing my first live loss. Just to let you know, folks, tonight in the Premier League as well, Chelsea on a tear. 4-0 up at half time. Second half has just started.
Everything's week goes from bad to worse.
Cole Palmer with those stone cold stunners on Everton has a hat-trick in the bag already. Jackson with the 4. Everton in serious trouble. 2 points above the drop zone at the moment. We know they've had their problems with point deductions and stuff like that, but they don't fix up real quick. They could be in serious trouble.
And they massive games coming up as well. Like
Acers in City treble again.
How are you, Acers?
Would deny them, and that's in better than I was yesterday night. Here, pal, I was ballistic. I was yesterday. But before we start, Marky, our sponsor for the season, the Monday Mashup.
Yeah, lads. Like I was saying last week, big month ahead. Next month, May, booked out for the complete month nearly now. June, we're in Longford. We've a few other bookings in July of a wedding here in Lucan, and a few bookings with the United team and Letterkenny and stuff like that. And the FA Cup is actually, I was going to put up the thing tomorrow. It's free this weekend for the FA Cup semi-finals. So if anyone's interested in joining for the finals, or any of the bars or football clubs out there, just hit me up on the socials or give me a call,
Absolutely. And lads, don't be holding the Premier League trophy. The Carabao Cup trophy is where it's at. Yeah, the Premier League trophy is way overrated.
Well, I was going to say, no matter the result, if United get to the final or not, the FA Cup will be in WrestleMania the week before the FA Cup final for whoever wants to go and get a few pictures. I think that'd be a good idea.
We get that sorted, absolutely. Romy One Kenobi's in. Can't wait till the wrestling show, Niall. I need to talk about my new favourite Japanese wrestler, AZM, and her match with Becker. Damn, it was real. I must take a look at it. I haven't seen it, so Rowan's in. Sorry I'm late, just in tears at this Everton team.
Go on the road. And Rowan got his haircut today, so if he wants to drop a picture, into Niall or whatever, and he can put it up just to show the before and after.
Uh, but just to let you know, folks, as well, just before we start, I want to say a big thank you to Darren who arranged the weekend there. We had great crack and all, and even the road trips in the car are just classic. So, um, Darren at times has a little bit of road rage, so it's always fun to experience that as well.
Love
He
it.
does his super fills gladly on the road, so he's good crack from that point of view. But yeah, and big thank you to his friend Colin, I think it is, who supplied us with the hospitality tickets. So big up, lads. Thank you very much. Oh, I'm sorry. And Baz is in. Evening, lads. What's the crack? How are you,
How
Baz?
are you, Baz?
Brendan Caffrey is in. How are you, Brendan? Good to see you.
How are you,
City
Brent?
Premiership, United FA Cup, Barcelona Champions League, and Liverpool Europa League. Listen, I'd be all right with that. I wouldn't be overly upset with that now.
Massive second leg performance has to come from you. Myself and Ron watched the first half last week and couldn't believe what we were saying. Basically, obviously we knew it was going to be a tough game, but Jesus, man, Atalanta came out their blocks steaming, didn't they?
Do you know the thing about it? Wouldn't it be just the Liverpool thing to go out and turn that around on Thursday and everyone going, where was this on Sunday?
I said it to Ron. I said, listen, you well have it in the tank. How many times have we seen he's come back from it? It is a tougher task going to Italy. We know what the Italian teams are like, shut up shop and sit behind the ball for 90 minutes. It would have been a little bit better if you had got one goal back at least, but it should be an interesting second leg.
Yeah, Daz is in. Can't wait for Raw tonight. Yeah, absolutely. Justice for Chad Gable. Hope he takes the belt off Sammy. All right, the man. Big up, Willis. How are you, my
Go
friend?
on the wheel.
Well, I have a program for you, Will. If you're around town, pop in. I'll bring it in with me tomorrow.
I have one as well. Will, it's called Debbie Does Dallas. I'll drop it over to Toy
That's,
Master tomorrow
of
for you.
course, if you wanted, of course. Breaking news: Rhea Ripley forfeit Women's World Heavyweight Championship tonight on Raw. Oh, what's that about? Atalanta currently playing now. Keep us posted, Aces, how they're getting on. We're following
Definitely.
the Chelsea game here. Show Mark the pictures, Noel. I will indeed. And Noel, leave my boy Sammy alone. There you go. Right, lads, just before we start the show, just fill up the chat there. Give us a few 97s there, and we'll just take a moment to remember these fallen heroes who lost their lives, who went to a game and should have came home. So if you can, spam the chat there with 97 if you can, please, for a few seconds. Great stuff, lads.
Well done, lads.
Impeccable, as they say. Right, let's get into the review. Where do we begin, Marky? Newcastle 4, Spurs 0. It's how we
I,
do it, mate.
I was expecting a lot more from Spurs on this, to be honest with you. But then you look back at the last 3 times they played Newcastle. Newcastle have won 5-1, 4-1, and 4-0, something like that. It was crazy stats. So from a United point of view as well, you see Spurs getting beaten, and then we don't take advantage. Newcastle are obviously thereabouts still as well. So, from a Newcastle point of view, it's a fantastic win, and Isak was on top form, and it's those wins that Eddie kind of needs at the minute, because there's a bit of discontent among some of the fans as well, from some of the results this season, in particularly over the last 2 or 3 months. It was all well and good when they qualified for the Champions League and having them amazing games and on the road and in James's Park, but some of the results in the league faltered a little bit. Like I said, a little bit of discontent there, but that was fantastic win by them. But from a Spurs point of view, absolute terrible performance. You look at it like Madison, since he's come back from injury, hasn't really done much at all, to be honest. He started the season very brightly, but since then. He's just kind of gone on a little downward spiral a bit. I know the injury was tough on him and getting back into it, but like I wasn't expecting a 4-0, to be honest with you. I really was expecting a score draw, in all honesty. And yeah, it's
or
like
even something
Spurs
like
have,
a 4-3 or something, a high
yeah,
score.
like and like Spurs have, I think they've Arsenal, Liverpool, and City in the next 3 games. Like, so they're massive, massive games. And from a United point of view, we should be taking advantage of this with hopefully them dropping points, but we can't even do that. It's this time of the season. It's crazy, isn't it, with the results? But like I said, I wasn't expecting that at all.
This time of the season is crazy for results, except if you're City. The
Yeah,
City
yeah.
just know how to get
Hey,
this
listen,
done.
head down, just business as usual, as they say for them.
And away you go. But yeah, absolutely. Roll me one Kenobi. I hope Ange Ball hasn't popped because they have to play City in a few weeks. Now I'm not hopeful, and it's the hope that kills you. But we'll hold on until mathematically it's impossible. Joanne, yeah, don't give it a miss, Joanne. Could be there or thereabouts. Who's knows? Bounce back against Bayern. Who knows?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
never know,
If
Joanne.
you lose to Bayern, I mean, you think it. I mean, it got real toxic. If you lose to Bayern, it could get really toxic. Isaac is such a player, yeah, and I think they confirmed from the sounds of things he's going nowhere because I think there was a
Yeah.
big fear amongst the Geordie fan base that he might be one of the ones that might have to go because of this profit and sustainability stuff and all. So, and we'll talk about that later. We've a little thing to talk about in relation to Chelsea, in relation to profit and sustainability, which I cannot understand. But we shall see. Brentford 2, Sheffield United 0.
Yeah, Sheffield United actually started off decent. I think Diaz had a good opportunity to put them 1-0 up in the first half, and he kind of scuffed it. I think that kind of woke Brentford up a little bit, to be honest with you, and they started creating a few chances, and eventually the goal comes, and then they had scored a second, wasn't it? And it was ruled out for a foul. I think the header, wasn't it?
Um, yeah, no goal because of foul. Yeah, Damsgaard.
That
Yeah,
Yes, that was it. But I think after that, I think it gave them a kick up in the backside, because after that they went on a rampage for about 10, 15 minutes and eventually got the second then. So again, it's a great win for them. From a Sheffield United point of view, after last week's results, you'd want to take that momentum into this game, but obviously it didn't happen. Like I said, they started brightly, but Brentford, listen, 3 points and a clean sheet at home this time of the season for Sheffield United, it's an uphill struggle, isn't it?
massive win for Brentford, who were on a slide themselves.
They were.
And three
They.
points
I think they're
against them,
7 points clear of the relegation zone now, aren't they?
he was certainly looking over his shoulder.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. But
Yeah. I think. I
Romy
think.
yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that with 7 points, I think it's fairly. It's a fair enough safe cushion at this stage of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're not only are we going to get a weird end to the season in terms of the relegation battle, but I think we could see the lowest points of safety level
Yeah. Yeah.
that we've seen because everyone talks about the magical 40. So many of these teams are nowhere near it, and yet they still look really safe.
Yeah. So I think
So I
Brentford on 32 or something like that.
think it is, yeah. I
Something
think
like that. And it's going to be interesting as well, because Everton still have to play Sheffield United, and they still have to play Luton as well in the next 6 games. So there's going to be a few twists and turns, to say the least.
yeah, absolutely. Burnley won, Brighton won, Brownhill with the goal, Murrich with the OG.
Oh, did you see Brownhill's goal?
No, I didn't.
Basically, it's in midfield, and a Brighton player passes it back to the keeper, but he runs onto it. Keeper comes out and slides and kicks it off Brownhill, and it goes into the net. It's one of those at this stage of the season. It's the type of goal you take, particularly in the position they are in the league. And again, from that, listen, Burnley, I was watching it. They played some decent stuff. Brighton, to me, I don't know, like, over the last few weeks, I've spoken on this show before about how inconsistent Brighton have been this season. They haven't won 2 games in a row since September and stuff. It just looked to me over the last few weeks they're kind of coasting a bit. That they're in that position in the league where they know they're safe, and they've had their little run in Europe, their experience in Europe, great for the fans and all. You know, it looks like they're coasting. It looks like some of them are on the beach the way they were playing. And listen, the way they they were lucky. We were just talking about your man Larson there. They're very lucky. He should have scored at the back post. You know, he missed an absolute sitter. They created a good few chances as well, but the Brighton's goal was just, yeah. I felt so sorry for Murray because he's stepped into the frame from Trafford, and he had an excellent game against Chelsea there a few weeks ago, and he's been solid. You know, I felt for him that it was the back pass went just hit off his foot and went under, and he tried to chase it, but it's one I think that Burnley
It
will
was
look.
the goal they were talking about. If ever there was a match fixing goal,
I know
that's
it
what
looked
it
that
felt
way.
like
It
when
looked that way.
it- yeah.
But now listen, if this is one of the games I think if Burnley do eventually go down, they look at it and say, listen, we should have picked 3 points up from that because Brighton were there for the taking. To be honest with you, they haven't been great over the last few months, and they got away with one there. And if you put, it's mad when you think about it. Like I said, they have been coasting to me, but when you look at it now, like they're only 6 points behind us. We're chasing that European spot. They're only 6 points behind us. So if they had picked up a few more results over the last 3 weeks, they could be thereabouts, you know.
Yeah, well, they were at one stage, you know. Do you
Yeah,
want to
no,
know
they
what?
were, but like I said, they've just been dropping and dropping. I don't know what it is with them. I know they've had a few injuries. Listen, we all have. Every single team this season has had injuries, but you find ways to deal with it. And yeah, like I said, it just feels like they're coasting it. A few of them are thinking about the beach now, and at the end of May, and you know they're not concentrating on these important games.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to know another stat as well? Chelsea
What's
are
the
within 3 points of views now with this win tonight, with a game in hand.
game in hand? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
At a Chelsea beat. Virgil van Dijk fell on his ass, he did, and Robbo bailed him out, thank God. I was at the other end, and I thought the net was just going to bulge with Robbo kicking it. Like, it was just, oh, man, slipping again. Newcastle destroy Kangaroos. Yeah. Niall holding on his Jack from Titanic. I am. Fingernails on that bit of wood, that's for sure, no doubt about it. Big up Joanne 97, never forget, absolutely.
Oh,
Pacers United players was on cherry during the match. Absolutely. Next up, Man City 5, Luton 1.
yeah, like they went 1-0 up, obviously with the unfortunate OG off your man, smashed off your man's face and into the back of the net. And at that stage, I was here on Saturday afternoon, and we were getting a new front door put in, so I was in for the afternoon. The van was off at the kids and stuff. So um I was putting something in the bin. I was talking to one of the neighbours, and he goes, "See, what scores a City game?" I said 1-0 up after 3 minutes, and he says, "Jays, that could be a cricket score." And I said, "Yeah, no, they could get a fair few, but fair play to Luton. Luton kind of kept them at bay for a while after that because it took City a long time to score. After that, Luton had a few little chances here and there, but like it's one of those games that City, you knew they were just going to see out. In particularly, you know, with Arsenal playing the next day, you would have expected you to win, obviously, but you're thinking Arsenal will drop points this weekend and maybe use next weekend to Fulham away or stuff like that. But they just know how to see things over the line. They're so experienced at this stage. With 6 games to go, you know, the money's on them now, isn't it? You know, a few weeks ago, we would have thought differently.
Wonderful. But you look at there, apart from the OG, look at the goal scorers. Okay, Hallen got a penalty. Doku scores. Vardy all scores. Kovacic scores.
Did you see
So the
Kovacic's
goal,
goal?
yeah, so at this time of year, the goals are coming from anywhere on the
Yeah.
pitch. Everything is chipping in, and they're starting to find their rhythm again. And they just, and Barkley getting the consolation as well. And even when Barkley got the consolation, like Pep, furious. 5-1. Furious. You know what I mean? Or whatever it was.
I think Chelsea have a panel, do they?
I can tell you now.
Foul on. It looked like there was a foul on Palmer, and then there was a foul on.
Penalty. James Tarkovsky concedes a penalty for dangerous play. And
It
away
didn't
goal.
look like it. I thought you got the ball. Is it who plays it? Unless it's for the first foul on Palmer, I can't see it. Yeah, man.
They're calling it on the Madueke foul.
That looks. Ooh. It looks like he's played it into. Or they're having a fight now over the panel. Madueke, Palmer. Jeez, they're all having a go. Everyone wants the ball. There's about Gallagher trying to get the two lads away. Is it Jackson as well? Trying to get the ball off Palmer. Jesus, not a good look for
Something
Chelsea,
Why
man.
would Palmer taking it? He has his hat. Why would he want it?
Your man Maduka won the penalty, tried to get the ball. Palmer took it off, and then Jackson comes in and tries to take the ball. They're still arguing over it.
That should
Palmer
put
had the ball. Gallagher was over there trying to. Jesus, lads, that's not a good look at all. Like,
That's what you call
so, and
thinking,
not
isn't it?
only that, it's putting more pressure on Palmer now, delaying the penalty.
Why doesn't Gallagher just walk over, take the ball, and take it
I
himself?
know, yeah. Thiago Silva's at the two of them now as well. He was there just trying to calm them down, like, you know.
Good
Jesus,
penalty.
lads, come on, you're 4-0 up, like, do you know what I mean?
That 5-0 up.
But yeah, sorry, where were
We were talking about Man City.
yeah, see, yeah, listen, it's
Mentals.
like, yeah, it's that time of the season where, you know, 6 wins the guarantees them the title. What's Pickford doing now? Pickford's giving out about where the ball's placed on the spot. Now,
Like he
I
does
could be a few seconds behind the lads.
every penalty.
Um, but yeah, listen, I think they've one hand on the trophy now. But Kovacic, what a goal, lads in the comments, did you see that? What an absolute goal from the corner, like, you know, and what a strike.
Yeah,
Palmer
big up.
scored it anyway. Sends Pickford the wrong way, puts it into the bottom right corner. Pickford goes left. So that's 4
Big
goals
up,
for him, 5 for Chelsea.
big up Granit Xhaka as well, picking up a win by Leverkusen. We'll talk about that later as well.
Did you
I
did you
think
see
it's
the
almost
scenes in the dressing room and all with Xavi
yeah,
Alonso? Quality, you know.
it was cool. I'd say. Forest
Um,
Wolves 2-2.
yeah, oh yeah, I knew it was going to be a good game, and again, both teams have been, you know, like Wolves have been playing some really really good stuff. How are you, Kyle? Um, with like a lot of times this season they've been playing really well and not kind of getting the comeuppance for it, because, you know, we took points off them when we shouldn't have, and VAR have gone against them this season. But Forest as well have started to pick up a lot over the last while. Gibbs White coming in with a few goals and stuff like that. So I knew it was going to be a good game, but I had a feeling it would be a draw. I was going for a 1-1 draw myself. Obviously it was 2-2, but it's, yeah, is it a point going to be enough for Forest at this time of the season? You know, that type of way.
Could be huge.
It could be. I hope it is. I hope they do stay up, but it's it's getting squeaky bum time for them.
Yeah, big up Coyle. Bad day at the office for both of us, pal. Yeah, but we'll come to it. We haven't got the Sunday yet. We will come to it. That's no doubt about it. Bournemouth
Sunday.
2, Mark. Man United 2.
Yeah, where do you begin?
It's
Same old
out of
story.
the house.
You know, first half performance was really like against Hughes last week. Anytime Bournemouth went forward, they looked like scoring. They we know midfield. Our defense were brutal as well. Um, I think obviously they got 1-0 up. A great finish by Solanke. Could Everton nearly had a penalty out there. Could Onana have moved his feet quicker to get into the corner, like Kluivert's goal as well, I suppose. We kind of stole a goal from them. I think we didn't play particularly well in the first half or the second half. We played a little better in the second half, but first half was one of those you just have to write off. And then he takes Garnacho off, and you're looking at it going, right, I know we didn't have a great first 45 minutes, but there's a lad on the left hand side of the pitch stealing a living at the minute. I don't know how he's starting. You know, Rashford, he persists with keeping him on, he persists with starting him. You know, for me, you look at it and it's kind of, if you're a player that's giving your all in training, you know, day in, day out, and you're maybe not getting a look in like Diallo at the minute, he when he's getting an opportunity, he's played well. And you're looking at someone like Rashford who's not putting the miles in, not doing what he's supposed to be doing. It's very disheartening for a player, you know, to sit on the bench and look at someone that's, you know, not putting anything into it, and you're still not getting a look in, you know. Then second half, listen, I looked at Casemiro in the second half and I thought to myself, like, Kobe has been our one ray of sunshine, you know, over the last few weeks, and I'm like, there's only so much he can carry Casemiro for, you know. That's a boy. He's gonna get a pain in his arse doing it. Obviously we get the penalty, which I know a lot of people probably thought it wasn't. I thought his arm moved up towards the ball. Obviously, it took a deflection. It's come at him. But if you look at the replay slowly, he actually moves his arm. And you see by the player's reaction, he knew straight away. He gets down, hands on his knees. Bruno puts it in. And then you're thinking, you know, we could have a snatch and grab here again. And obviously they get the free kick outside the box, which I thought it was a penalty, so it was hurting the mouse stuff again for the final few minutes. But like a lot of the times this season, I think we stole a point off Bournemouth. I thought Bournemouth deserved to win the game, to be honest with you. They played a better football, created the better chances. Like that header in the first half that Ting had, who was it? And it hit off the bar, and then he gets the rebound, and there's four defenders around him, and you're like, how he's had it into the ground, it's bounced up off the bar, come off the bar, and then he's got the second header, and you're like, lads, what are you doing? Like, we're in absolute shambles at the back, like.
Observe.
Yeah, it's we're just listen. At the minute, we're shambles. I seen it in the first half against you last week. Um, you should have been 5-0 up at half time. Like, there's no doubt in my mind you should have been 5-0 up. Bournemouth could have won by any margin yesterday. Um, listen, we've had injuries and all this season, whatever, but we haven't had a consistent back four. But like I just said previously about Brighton, everyone has injuries over the course of a season. It's why you have a 25-man squad there to use, And listen, there's an awful lot of dead wood there at the minute. People are saying about Ten Hag out, this, that, and the other. Lads, you can say all you want about the manager. It's up to the players at the end of the day. We don't even look like a team. We look like a group of individuals out there. Not a very good group of individuals either. But like I said, we're carrying the likes of Casemiro and all. Rashford doesn't want to know. Get rid of him. Lots of changes needed to be made in the summer. I think I think Ten Hag is the man to take us forward with investment. And listen, I know we're talking about style of play and all, but he's had a tough. I always say to the lads who say get rid of who are you going to get in? Obviously, there's been calls Gareth Southgate, this, that, and the other. Lads, who do you want in, or who would you see coming in? Because I can't see anyone else coming in and doing a better job with the group of players we have there. We need to get rid of. Obviously, listen, we have to sell because of financial fair play to get lads in, but it's gone beyond a joke at this stage, because.
Yeah, I think the big problem at the moment is there's going to be a lot of teams looking for managers come the summer or even before. And I think the issue is the market isn't great at the moment in terms of availability for what you would
Yeah.
want. And I think if you went back a number of years, back to when United were successful and stuff like that, you wouldn't have to worry about that because you could go and take a manager out of a club. So you wouldn't have to necessarily rely on the free agent space, if you like. But that's all changed now as well. And United is such a, it can be such an unbelievable job, or it can be such a crutch to bear in terms of your career. And that's the difficulty at the moment of where it's at. I think with Ratcliffe coming in, I think things will be done in a much better fashion to give you a better opportunity for success.
100%.
But does a huge job there. And not dissimilar to ourselves either, and we'll get onto that as well, where we need quite a number of changes as well. And Michael Edwards has come in and has quite the job on his hands as well. When you look at the game yesterday, especially I was there live in the stadium, it's like night and day really to succeed. Big up Romy one can be. I was on about Mickey Van de Ven, yeah, absolutely. And I was on about Van Dijk when he slipped and Robbo bailed him out.
Oh, Van de Ven, yeah, he got booked as well. He's been fantastic for Spurs this season.
We've seen that penalty, Aces. Cheers, pal. Let's get into. Oh no! Before we get off United, did you see the tweets that Garnacho?
Yeah, goal bridges, yeah.
Tweets and stuff that, and then he unliked them.
Yeah, saying that. But in fairness, like I said to him, he got taken off at half time, and you're looking at it going, how the hell is Marcus Rashford still on the pitch? And in fairness, there's other substitutions he should have made. You're looking at it with an hour gone, going, come on, Eric, change it up here. Like I said, we're carrying the likes of Casemiro and stuff like that. The changes aren't coming, and that's what's frustrating. That's what's frustrating the fans, but it doesn't necessarily mean that, give him the elbow, get him out the door. I think with investment over the summer, hopefully for the gym, and get rid of it, like I said, a bit of the dead wood, we can do a bit better next season.
Yeah. I can tell you now, John, you could put your mortgage on Mo Salah not being there next season. I'm telling you now. I was at the game yesterday, and I'll come back to your point when we get to the Liverpool game. West Ham 0, Fulham 2. Pereira, your boy with 2 goals.
Yeah. He's been fantastic this season, and like I said, a lot of them have been. For Fulham, they're a really tough team to play against. Particularly, like, you look at it, we know what they're like in Craven Cottage, but they've been taking a good few results as a United fan, I know, away from home as well. And they've scored goals from all over the place this season as well. And Yeah, it was West Ham obviously were missing the likes of Bowen and stuff like that. Obviously, with they had a big match on Thursday night, a lot of energy would have went into that. And it's a massive win for Fulham, great win for Fulham, and it's going to be a tough game for you next weekend in the cottage.
Always a tough place to go to.
Yeah,
Even when Fulham are kind of like Brighton as well, aren't they? Either really, really good or don't show up at all.
yeah,
But I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
it's a weird. And look, the thing about it is, what's worse this week as well? If we do go to Bergamo and we do turn that around, that will take all the mental energy of that team.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We will be drained come the weekend.
And
Absolutely.
Fulham be there waiting to try take advantage.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Um, no, but listen, great win for them. I think who was it watching last week? Was it your man at the back? Was trying to think of his name there. Should have oh yeah, Alex Iwobi was fine as well. He did these. Your man Robinson, sorry, their left full. He's been excellent this season.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's been excellent for them this season.
Yeah, Palhinha's been good. Went out with a bit of an injury and missed a number
Yeah,
of games. He's been excellent as well. Yeah, a number of those guys probably won't be there.
exactly.
Daz was saying, let Palmer take it for the fantasy, of course.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah. I have him in my fancy as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Michael Jackson ain't entitled to penalty duty. There you go.
Ooh.
Right, next up, Liverpool nil, Crystal Palace 1. SA on 14 minutes.
I'm gonna hand this one over to you, cause
Lads, I was in this, and this is for John and everyone in there, Reds and this. I was in the ground yesterday. I was in the Annie Road stand. And I can tell you now, and look, everyone had a bad day at the office. The passing was atrocious. Um, the lack of formation and structure was evident. Players on top of each other, not spreading the play, not opening Palace the way you need to. The physicality of Palace, especially in the midfield, we couldn't deal with. I thought Will Hughes and the other boy Wharton were really, really good. Really good. Um, but I looked at Mo Salah yesterday, not just to pick out Mo Salah, because everyone knows how much I love Mo Salah and stuff like that when he's done for the club and everything. But yesterday, he just looked so uninterested. It was like it was the last place you wanted to be. Now, maybe it's something to do, aren't they going through Ramadan at the moment and all that kind of stuff.
finished last Wednesday.
Finished last Wednesday, did it?
Yeah, finished last. Eid was last Wednesday. Yeah.
Okay, very good. But like it's just to see Mo there and just the link up play with Bradley wasn't there. He wasn't making the runs. Bradley was getting isolated and doubled up on, and I was right on that. Like I was, lads, I was 35 yards from that going on, so I could see it physically there. And it was a real struggle for him yesterday. And it looks like he's kind of second guessing and double thinking himself on everything that he does, which is not really what Mo Salah does. And we kind of huffed and we puffed. Mateta yesterday was brilliant up front for Palace. Absolutely tortured Kanate both physically and mentally, even when the ball wasn't around. He was getting stuck into Kanate, even when there was no ball near them. And when Kanate had enough and he handed him off to Virgil, he was doing the same thing to Virgil. So Mateta yesterday was unbelievable. I think the goal that they got was a beautiful piece of just tidy football that we should be more than aware of and know how to defend against it. I think we were disjointed. We were giving up the ball cheaply. I think in the second half we got a little bit better, took a bit more control of the game, started creating more chances, started spreading the play a bit better. But it was just so lackluster yesterday. The crowd was dead. Um, the cop obviously still continuing with the banner situation. Obviously, they recognised the 97, but there was nothing else really there. Um, just a dead atmosphere in the ground as well. And then with 10 minutes to go at 1-0, people were leaving, which is very, very strange to me. I don't understand that because it was nearly 17 minutes at that stage. We got 7 minutes at the time.
Yeah.
But just all round, it was just like we got the feeling with the number of chances. Henderson made a real good save, and then he was giving it to Mo Salah.
I was saying
Giving
that.
himself
Yeah.
Henderson's a real kind of he's a proper shithouser anyway.
Oh,
So,
big time.
but,
Yeah.
and we just felt that it just a couple of opportunities, the Jota chance that Mo kind of took off his toe, just kind of like it just didn't feel like it was going to be our chance. The place was blustery and it was windy as well, but that's for both teams. But I think it was very difficult to whip in balls on corners and set pieces to get lads on them with a bit of energy. So a lot of balls were being floated in, which typically end up going over the bar for headers and stuff like that and all. So all round a really disappointing game. My first loss live in my lifetime for Liverpool, watching them live, which was very, very disappointing. And now City have their noses in front, so we kind of know we've been here, we've wrote the book, we felt it, we've seen it. You know, the only thing that we'd be happy about is that we did win one of the leagues to break the run. Or this league would really, we'd be looking at this league, I think, in a very different light if it was 6 or 7. You know what I mean? So, um, but yeah, tough day all round. A lot of players need to look at themselves. I think if Amarin is the guy who comes in, there's a lot of players there that will find they won't have a position to play. He plays 3-4-3, so he doesn't play with the backs. So questions are going to be asked: how do they fit into the system, or what way do they do? And I think you look at Diaz probably touting himself out to Barcelona and the dad, so he'll probably exit the building.
Yeah,
Mo, I would imagine, will exit the building as well because I don't see any situation where we give out a massive contract renewal to Mo Salah at 5, 6, 700 grand a week. Um, at that age, I just don't see it. And I think it is time to probably cash in and get that 100 million or 120 million or whatever it is, and do exactly what we did with Coutinho and go out and buy 2 world class players. And I think that's just it. And I know people don't want to hear that and they don't like it. And listen, I'm a big Mo Salah fan. I'm not liking it either, but that's the
yeah,
reality of the situation. So yeah, tough, tough day at the office. Um, so Arsenal, and then this compounds it, of course.
yeah.
Arsenal nil, Aston Villa 2.
Yeah, I was expecting a draw here, to be honest with you. Listen, I think everyone, because Arsenal have been doing so well, everyone's kind of waiting. Because I've said it before, around February, March is when the wheels start going off for them, and it didn't, and you're kind of waiting and waiting, and it came. Yeah, listen, they created some opportunities. If you look at it, if Trossard had a scored that opportunity where it was square to him, great save by Martinez. If Saka had a whipped that one into the bottom corner, went the wrong side of the post, you're thinking it's a completely different other game, you know. But Villa are so dangerous, and particularly counter attacking and stuff like that, as we've seen for the second goal, for Watkins' goal, and what a little dink over the keeper that was over Raya. But yeah, listen, for if you're an Arsenal fan, obviously it's a very bad result this time in the season. But Aston Villa, I think, deserved it overall yesterday. Like I said, Arsenal didn't take their chances. Martinez pulled off some great saves, and in the end, I think it was a fair result.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think so. Look, I think it was a game of two halves. I think Arsenal were brilliant first half, just didn't take their chances, similar to ourselves.
Yep.
Except we were absolutely more blunt than Arsenal, to be honest. And then I think second half, I think a very clever game by Unai Emery, and
Yeah.
he deserves a lot of praise and stuff like that. Myself and Darren were actually talking on the way down to Holyhead yesterday in the car. If Emery was to get a Champions League spot, does he take Manager of the Year?
Yeah, like it's been a great season for him. Yeah, absolutely. He definitely be up there. Like I've mentioned Gary O'Neill before and stuff like that with Wolves, what he's been doing there and stuff like. Um, See, listen, yeah, you'd have to the style of football. It's always handy to hand it to Pep after he's won the league, isn't it? You know, you have to look further down at these other managers that haven't had millions and millions and millions to spend, and you know, we won't get on to the other thing about what they're up for. But yeah, 100%, I definitely have him up there.
Yeah. Morris is saying United need to deal with Arsenal. They cancel contracts. Yeah, Martial's exit in the building. That news came out today, didn't it? But
Thank God, yeah, thank
there's no secret
God.
in that. You know what's the crack, Noel? I'm feeling a little bit better, bro, on a heavy dose of
Hell
antibiotics.
yeah, you know.
There he is. There he is. You really need
Go
to get
on
some.
then, Dazzler.
Darren will tell you about the fan I was sitting beside first half.
Has
Yeah,
Dazzler got a Scouse twang now? Has he?
it
All right,
wasn't.
calm down, calm down.
It wasn't pleasant. Place was like a graveyard. It was, Darren. I was only talking earlier about fans rolling out with 10 minutes to go and everything else. It was rotten to the core. If SJR has balls, go for Inzaghi. Yeah, absolutely. That could be like this. This is what I'm thinking in relation to, and I think Liverpool should look at it this way as well. I don't think we should just solely be distracted if the decision is made to just look at the free agent market or whatever it is, or the free market I think you need to look at clubs as well and see is there a manager there that suits your project and what you want to do, and go in and pay what you need to pay to get the right guy. Just don't settle for what's available. So I think that's really, really important as well. But that's a good shout on Inzaghi. Would you have Inzaghi, Mark?
Yeah, yeah, not a bad shout at all. It's not one that I would have looked at straight away for you, but yeah, that's a really good shout. Yeah,
Big up, Cullen. Big up. Tony Khan might not be winning in the wrestling world, but he's certainly winning in the football world. Kind of. Kind of. Round disaster. Oh, round.
go on the Dino.
Still no whirling manager. Yeah, and we're going to be talking. We don't have a chief executive either now.
Yeah,
We're going to be getting into that. What a
is he
shambles.
is he gone on an official holiday now? Is he?
He's,
The old Jonathan.
the announcement was today, and he's leaving in a month. No, leaving in May. Mo Salah looked like he wanted to go home and watch the Fallout TV show. I couldn't blame him. It's brilliant. Absolutely just desperate. Desperate. Dean Henderson pulled off some cracking saves. I bet he was loving the win the most. Well, I'll tell you something. I was sitting in Anfield just then beside me. The Dazzler was beside me. And he said, don't sleep on Dean Henderson and the shithousery. And when Crystal Palace scored, Henderson went to the Palace fans. He was down beside them. I want to see it, man. It
Mad.
was like that little corral of Crystal Palace fans made more noise than the rest of them. It was crazy. John, big in. SA would be a good signing for us, quality youngster. Darren said the exact same thing to me in the ground yesterday. He would be very good for us. Guys, you are reading our minds here, what we were speaking about. If it wasn't for Robinson's goal line clearance, that game ends 2-0. If it wasn't for Robinson's goal line clearance, that game could have ended 3 or 4-0 because our heads would have dropped greatly. Robbie One Kenobi. It was just shocking. Just shocking. Diaz twerking for Spotify FC like Toy Spice, 100%. And it's not even him; it's the Elfle. The Elfle is dying to get the Barcelona. Parma level on goals with Haaland. Not mad, isn't it? Not mad. What a season he's
Does that make him a League One player?
probably League Two.
No, I'm just thinking just above Haaland. You know, he will.
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah. Well, he's level with him, so
He's level now, but he will.
yeah. Yeah, he gets another goal tonight. Now he could go level up to League One. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
still 6 minutes left.
If Arsenal had a proper out and out striker, they would have put that game to bed in the first half. William, here's the conversation that we have here. We were on this podcast in January and we said if Arsenal are serious about winning the league and pushing on, go get Ivan Toney out of Brentford in January and stop messing around. And they didn't do it. They didn't do it. And see that Jesus lad, I'm going to say it again, that guy is an absolute fraud.
And Tony's been sitting on the bench for the last 3 games as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, 100%, and doesn't want to be there. And I believe you were linked with him last week at a
Yeah,
good price.
I think yourselves, Chelsea, Arsenal have all been linked with him. Like,
fair play to Emery, he had the game plan spot on. He didn't do it. Parma, more goals than Jesus and Ketia and Havertz combined. No striker equals no trophies. Morris was on the podcast here in the chat week in, week out, even from before Christmas, talking about go get me a striker constantly about it. From Girona would be perfect for Arsenal. He would actually. He is a player. Leave the wrestling talk out, please. Easy now, easy. The YouTube police are in the house.
hey.
Man was at Inter Milan match last night, begging Inter to resign him immediately. Darren's back in. Apparently, the FAI will name a manager Wednesday or Thursday.
For the under 15s.
His name from the Spanish women like Jude, yeah, absolutely, 100%. Right, just to let you know, what did you say? There is 8 minutes, is it?
No, there's probably
3 minutes plus stop. Still
yeah,
5.
3 minutes on stoppage time, I say now, yeah.
Right, I got Darren to give us his predictions the other night. Give us your predictions for this week. Wait, who's going through? Who's going into the semis?
Like, I fancied Arsenal before it. You're looking at it now going, right, Bayern Munich are at home. It's their last chance to win a trophy this season after, obviously, Bayer Leverkusen winning the weekend, and it hasn't been a good season for Harry moving. Did you see the interview with him on the on the side of the pitch after the match and all the Arsenal fans singing and stuff? It was brilliant. But I did fancy Arsenal and before it, but I think with what's at stake, I think Munich will go through.
You think Munich could go through? Yeah. Amanda Holt lifting my gap over the Love it. Okay, so you give me Bayern Munich.
Sorry. Where did they get Amanda Hall from? Um,
Go.
yeah, I'll go for it. Yeah, like I said, I did fancy Arsenal over the two legs, but I just think with what's at stake now, Munich at home as well. I think there's a lot of pressure on them. And I think they just see it over the line. It should be an entertaining game, though.
Definitely the one to watch. Real Man City. Oh,
Um, yeah, another Jesus quality game. It was just like now. I had started watching Blackpool versus Fleetwood, and the live score notifications kept coming up, so I switched on to the Real Madrid City game. I was literally just switching back and forth, but I had planned on just sitting down and watching Blackpool and Fleetwood. Obviously, a little local derby, only 15 minutes away from each other. But yeah, the draw of the Champions League, it took me in, and I ended up watching the Madrid game. Again, listen, very open game, lots of goals, lots of opportunities to kill the game off. There was from both teams, but yeah, listen, City at home. I don't know. I fancy Madrid to get like not an upset, a shocker, an upset because of the team they are. But I think I fancy Madrid to go through.
but Robbie will be happy with that.
Yeah,
Atletico,
yeah.
Dortmund.
Yeah. Again, great win for Atletico. They
Yeah,
they're that type of team. Sometimes they can bottle at this stage of the Champions League. We know what Simeone's like and his antics and stuff like that. I'd expect them to go over there and probably shut up shop knowing him and time waste as much as they can and irritate Dortmund and their players, and maybe come away with a nil all or a sneaky 1-0 win. So I think Atletico will go through as well.
Aaron was saying pick up a goal and then just shit house it
Yeah,
out.
yeah, no, 100%, 100%. That's what I could
And
see them doing.
PSG, Barcelona. I was very impressed with Barcelona last week and the youth players and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, like obviously over the last few years, the El Clasico and the La Liga games in particular haven't been what they were. With the loss of the players from Barcelona, obviously they got Lewandowski in and stuff like that. But you're looking at it. You're used to seeing Busquets, Messi, and all. Now we're looking at Memphis Depay, and yeah, listen, I think it was a great performance by them. I can see them, especially particularly they're going to be at home as well. I can see them getting this over the line and stuff. PSG will, obviously cause them some sort of problems, but I can see them just getting through.
Yeah, now that Romy one can always says that we were looking around the ground yesterday and there was a few empty seats. And Dazzler said, "Is this place turning out like Man City or what?"
It
Well,
is,
well,
yeah,
it's only a few. It wasn't you, was it?
it is
Empty
six
seats.
0 now. Chelsea.
Saying that there. Gilchrist, is it?
Yeah, yeah. He's Jesus. He's bleeding, loving it. He's jumping into the crowd now.
Dead right. Keep on running.
Yeah, I think it was Chilwell drilled the shot across. Pickford kind of palms it out, and he just drills it into the bottom left hand corner. Then
As the Rock says, Mbappe don't break my heart this week. These Spotify bulbs. Absolutely. I can't see him doing it. I can't see him doing it. I think I'm
oh,
gonna go for go on, yeah.
no, I was
Who
just
did
going to
you
say, yeah, I think they cause problems, but definitely Barcelona will go through. I'd say.
Barcelona. So you're going Bayern, Man City, Bayern, Real, Atleti, and Barcelona. That's your lineup for the semi final.
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
That's a big one.
What were you on Dazzler?
Darren, I think Darren picked City. He's probably in the chat. I think he did pick City. He picked Atleti because he did the 1-0 kind of thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think he went for Barca. I'm not sure who he went between Arsenal and Bayern. He's still thinking Arsenal. I'm not sure. Not sure. But yeah, so it'll be interesting. Good night's football on Tuesday and Wednesday.
That's if the League One isn't on. You know yourself, cause
Yeah, absolutely. 7 minutes out of on time. Chelsea, after this result, players will get destroyed by City on Saturday. Well, let's see. Let's
well,
see.
he's made a few changes with the game in mind as well. Over the weekend. Listen, you're what was it, 4-0 up at half time?
Yeah,
I think you can afford to take a few of the lads off and give them a rest with Wembley in mind on Saturday.
yeah, absolutely. What did you make of this? The Chelsea hotels, two hotels being sold off out of the Chelsea group, within the Chelsea group, 76 million, and the money goes off the profit and sustainability books. Apparently, Bowley bought these two hotels or whatever it was for 76 million. And apparently, the Premier League said it complied with profit and sustainability rules. You can't write this stuff, can we?
It's just like, where are they going to think of the next loopholes? City, City are probably looking at that going, "Jesus, we might sell our training ground to your man's cousin and stuff, and we'll knock that off the profitability." But like, listen, it's a big circus around Chelsea and City at the minute, isn't it? Like, every bleeding cent um has been looked at. But listen, they have the lawyers and they have the people there to find all these little loopholes and stuff like that.
Todd Bowley moving like the girl from the bat in The Shining. Oh, you're on
Jesus,
fire tonight. You know it's
you're
Champions
right.
League week when Romy Wunganobie's on fire. That's for sure. No doubt
Hala
about it.
Madrid.
Acers. Roman losing his mind back in Russia. I don't think he's in Russia. Is he not in Israel or somewhere like that?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I couldn't believe this. Um, what else do we want to talk about? There you go. Bayer Leverkusen
Great.
win their first Bundesliga title in the Munich's, I should say, 11-year reign. It was fantastic to see it. And listen, not only did they do it, they did it in style.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Great. See the two goals as well.
yeah,
Unbelievable, wasn't it? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
and then the scenes at the end of all the fans running onto the pitch and stuff, just
Yeah.
you can't beat that. And obviously the scenes in the dressing room we seen afterwards and stuff like that was just unbelievable.
Yeah, and the thing about it is when you see that and you experience that, you can understand why he would want to stay. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So it made me feel a little bit better, like that he was making a such stay. Now I know there's other issues behind that as well, but it's good to see it. Not a huge
Um,
amount in football.
no, it's and come here, I'm jealous. See this, all that beer they have on the pitch and stuff like that. Jesus Christ, man. Give me that for me Saturday nights watching the overlapping match of the day.
Yeah, Rice, Bellingham, Saka, Palmer, Foden, and Kane. If Garrett can't win a trophy with that front six this summer, listen, we know what happens. We know what happens. Roman gathering the Russian mafia to get Bowley and threatening him with fish heads. Lord. Bayer won the community shield. Did they? Love it, love it,
Yeah, it's
absolutely.
some trophy, isn't it? It's not a part
And
of
the,
my collection anyway.
and the hypocrisy of the top goal scorer getting the cannon.
Yeah,
Isn't that a kicker for Harry
yeah,
Kane? I
yeah.
think it was something like that
The
with
old
the air.
Arsenal touch on this mantelpiece now.
Absolutely. One other one I want to talk about: Wrexham, back-to-back promotions. Are these guys on a drive to the Premier League eventually? What's happening?
Yeah, listen, it's great. Yeah, fair play to them getting to League One. You know what they done last season. We always remember that game against Notts County when Ben Foster saved the penalty in injury time and the scenes. And it's always a struggle. Listen, you've seen Salford. Salford have been struggling to get there themselves. After the investment and the years of being in non-league football, but they go on the Morris. But listen, it's great to see. Obviously, if they let's say for instance this time next season they get to the championship is a complete different kettle of fish. Very, very tough to get promoted from, because you're playing games that from teams that have just been relegated from the Premier League, and there's a lot of it takes a lot to get out of it. Teams like Leeds saying that for many, many years. They think they were there for 14 years or something like that. So, but listen, it's great. There's obviously Irish involvement, 5 Irish players there and stuff like that. So that's great to see as well. Great for the town. And it'd be great to see how far they can go next season.
It's cool for the two boys as well because they actually look like they're really into it. You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean? They're not just like buying up like using like American Easy Dash to buy up a commodity or something like that. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
You see so many American investors now coming into the likes of Birmingham and Hurley and all this kind of stuff and all. But these two boys look like they nearly kick every ball on match day and
Yeah,
stuff like
no, it's great. You see the videos and listen, they look after the lads. When they got promoted last year, they sent the lads on a trip to Vegas and stuff like that. They spent a week in Vegas. Um, they they've a tight knit fan base who've seen the best and the worst. Listen, you know what it's like when say like for Greystones, you're going out week in, week out, and you're coaching them and supporting them, and
that.
where it could be piss and rain, snow, this, that, and the other. They've been through all that. These two lads come in from Hollywood, and you kind of think, right, Jesus, it's all going to change here. Maybe not for the good, and it has. They've invested in the town
Mm.
as well as the club itself, which is great for the town and the little clubs. I think they bought jerseys for some of the junior clubs around the area as well. So listen, fair play to the two lads, and they've invited, they've invited obviously their mates from Hollywood there. It's great for pictures for the lads and stuff, but to see them at most matches and even I've seen a few of the pictures when they're back in America, they're up at like 3-4 a.m. watching the Wrexham games, and it's great to see. Like, so fair play to them. I was delighted, and like I said, in particular because there's 5 Irish players there, so it's great to see.
Yeah, and I have to say I really enjoyed the documentary, and it was cool to see as well the way the community came to meet them,
Yeah.
and like they had the gauge from the community stuff that, and then the community came around and was embracing them and stuff like that and all. So great stuff going on there, at Rexford, Wrexham, I should say, and it's a great it's a great opportunity. Deadpool FC, well done. There we go. Wrexham beat United in USA this year. There you go.
Yeah, they
Right.
did. I watched Ben Foster's vlog of that as well. Yeah.
Wrexham gets motivated for matches by watching Gavin and Stacey.
Listen, it's one of our favourite programs here in this house. We're dying to get to Barry Island someday.
Wolverine has the X Men. Deadpool has Wrexham. There you go. Want to talk about Jonathan Hill, who has departed as chief executive. I think he's winding up in the next couple of weeks, finishing up in May or something like that. But a lot of controversy around paid holidays of about 12 grand, and I think it was 8 grand as well, and benefit in kind in relation to travel and stuff like that and all. And I just think this is scandalous for an organisation that was so under the microscope to have the balls to let stuff slide again. It's just absolutely shocking. Um,
Uh, FAI CEO and controversies sounds familiar, doesn't it?
mm,
No, I think. Listen, at this stage, it wouldn't be great if to just dismantle the FAI and start from scratch. He's come in. He was commuting from England all the time. He took the 12 grand or whatever it was in kind of for holiday leave. Listen, man, you're CEO of an international team. It's not as if you're CEO of a club team where it's day to day work. Like he managed his own business on the side of doing this job as well. Listen, he came in at a time when a lot of stuff had to be cleaned up from our previous CEO, who we that's a whole different issue. He came in to clean that all that up, and like he he was there to help clean up the controversy, not create more. And now this is what's happened. And I was talking to Keno, who's been on the podcast before. Keno, the Liverpool fan. We were talking just after Christmas, and there was whispers going around of what was going to happen and that he was going to leave. And then 2 weeks ago, he got a vote of confidence from the FAI saying that he was going to stay from the likes of Packy Bonner and stuff like that. And you're thinking, surely with what's going on, they can't keep him on. And I think it just got to the stage where he thought to himself, like, I'm out of the building. I'll have to go. There's no going back from this.
how do these guys give him a vote of confidence? And I'd love to know, not only should he be exiting the building, but anyone related to signing off on those checks and
Yeah,
payments should be out the building as well. This is
100%.
they need to absolutely clear that out from top to bottom, real quick.
They're big time. They're after announcing. I think it's Dave Carell is going to be the interim CEO. Obviously, he's a Mayo man and stuff like that. But the problem is he's been with the FAI, like he's been involved in the FAI for the last few years as a almost like a sporting director role. So he's been under Jonathan Hill's leadership, basically. So there's talk of him. We all know intern roles in the Irish FAI, you tend to just keep them. There's been talk of now Mooney coming in. He's He's played in the League of Ireland, but he's worked at UEFA, and he was also a CEO for Wales a few years ago. So he'd be a decent lad to get in as well. Um, Certainly from a point of view of, listen, he had worked with the FAI before, but not in a kind of a complete hands on role. And then he got a move to UEFA, so obviously he's very highly thought from in European football. And like I said, then he became CEO of Wales for a few years. So that'd be one that I'd like to see personally come in. Is now Mooney myself, like.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? And Morris Steve Bruce is the new favourite, lads. Um, but do you know what they should do? They should get all these lads on a WhatsApp video call all together and say, right, lads, the wage is 500 grand.
Yeah.
So just hit the leave button if 500 grand doesn't suit you, and let's see what we're left with.
Well,
Because a lot of this seems to be it's related to money and the package and stuff like that.
100%. And
You
from what I'm hearing now, I don't know. I don't know. I've been hearing loads over the last few weeks, but apparently Anthony Barry is going to be the one that's going to be announced as the next Ireland manager.
know?
So that's what I heard anyway. So
There we go. Right, we'll round it out with this. Frightening scenes again. Roma and Udinese, I think it was.
yeah,
Everton collapses suddenly on the pitch. The Serie A match was abandoned. Always a very frightening scene, both for players, himself, family, viewers, fans, everyone, of course. But did a great job. The medical teams rushed him to hospital. Was a suspected heart attack, but he's doing well.
it was
Don't
good to
get
see the picture of him as well in the hospital and stuff like that.
absolutely, and it's just one of those such a frightening thing. Um, but the outcome of this is all good and stuff like that. And I wonder from a health point of view, we're seeing more and more of this all the time. Is there something from a medical point of view that they could put in place, or something that they should be looking at? And because it's happening so much, is there something going on there, or
Yeah.
something that they could look at from a medical point of view, that they may be able to, when they do their usual testings and medical and stuff like that.
All these underlying heart issues, it's mad, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like, and
and it could be something from the pandemic. It could be something from the vaccine. We're not going to put tinfoil hats on here and stuff like that. It could be anything. We
mm,
don't know. But it just seems to have taken a lot of momentum recently. Before, it was always quite sporadic.
mm.
Um,
Because in fairness, you'd always remember the ones. Obviously, we talk about Fabrice Mwamba,
yeah,
Mark Vivian Foe. These are the ones that stick out, and they were kind of few and far between. But now it seems to be, a lot more consistent happen. That type of way. So
yeah.
it's just, and listen,
It,
obviously
it,
with
I just,
Christian,
I just felt kind of since
yeah,
Ericsson's week, there seems to be a kind of a somewhat regularity to these every month or two. Something seems to happen. So
and
maybe it's something they could look at. Maybe it's post-pandemic or something like that. Maybe who knows?
that's it. Like a lad I grew up with, Patch in Dundrum, passed away there 2 weeks ago, age 41, an underlying heart problem. He was lying on the sofa, and he was found unresponsive at 7 o'clock 2 Saturdays ago, and just I couldn't believe it. Like, we used to play football together and stuff like that, and you hear it was an underlying heart issue, and it's like, gee, lads,
At that
it
age,
happened to anyone, like.
I still now I go for bloods at least once a year, because of course, of all our family history and stuff like
Yeah,
that. So, and it crosses over even into your own. So every year I go and get bloods. I get bloods done. I get a full pallet done and stuff like that now, just to make sure that you just
yeah,
never. Uh, didn't the girl from Arsenal collapse as well? Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Last minute of the final, the final, wasn't it, against Chelsea? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's just scary stuff when it happens. Of course, we don't want anyone losing their life, so maybe it's something they could look at. Something to
And
keep an eye
in fairness, now we talked about Mark Vivian Foe, and back in the day, obviously, there's a lot more of defibrillators around the ground, and
medical
paramedics
things.
and stuff there.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, so
Unbelievable.
we're blessed in that sense, and particularly in grassroots football now. You go to any club around the country, and they all have a defibrillator at the clubhouse. And obviously, I said it before on this program, the video Liverpool done with Nivea that time about your man that had the heart attack, and his opponent, the centre half, had a heart attack, and his opponent, who he was marking, the striker on the opposition team, was a nurse, and saved his life. And because of that, they introduced a new law over there and gave new money put my money in, and Nivea put money into it now as well. A defibrillator in every park in every part of England and stuff like that. So yeah,
Yeah, a woman died in the Celtic crowd at 54.
that's madness.
It's just mad. And we're seeing a lot of that as well, aren't we? We're seeing a lot of it in the crowd as well, in the
Yeah,
fans.
yeah. How many times over the last
Yeah,
few years has the game been halted and someone's
yeah,
been receiving treatment?
yeah. And it probably, from that point of view, it probably makes a little bit of sense because people are probably having a few beers, they're probably eating food, and then they're going into an atmosphere where they're amped up, they're out of their seat, they're doing stuff, whatever it is.
Yeah,
Probably have a feed in you, and people know, like, when you've eaten and stuff like that, you need to be so careful as well,
yeah,
So, maybe it's something to do with that, but we're seeing a lot of it in the crowds as well, not just on the pitch. And again, hats off to the stewards and the medical teams and all, even
everything
treating
involved.
people
Yeah,
in the stands up, doing an unbelievable job. Long may that continue in terms of their reaction times and stuff like that. And all. Remember the Newcastle fan had a heart
yeah.
attack? Luckily, he
Remember
was six.
well. Yeah, wasn't there a doctor sitting a few seats away from him that helped him out? Like,
That's right, absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's it. Another show in the bag. Monday mashup. Brilliant as always. Even if we feel crappy a bit from the weekend, but I had a great weekend with Darren.
straight to the lab after this.
Absolutely. Badly late. Got home this morning at like about 1:30 or whatever it was. I'm pretty tired. I'm not one of those guys. When I get home, I kind of have to ease into it and stuff like that as well. So
Yeah, yeah,
I normally walk in the door and just conk out. So normally, I was saying to Darren this morning, normally when I come home from a trip, I'll sort out the case and the bag or whatever I have before I go to bed, so everything's back where it should be.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, it was cool. It was a great trip. The
And
road trips, right? The stories are just great.
yeah, no, you can't beat it. Like, especially getting the boat and stuff, and you have more hours on the road and a lot more banter and stuff like that, isn't it?
Somehow there's always a doctor nearby heroes. There is, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because they're the only ones that can afford hospitality seats. That must be what it is. Yeah,
That's it.
yeah, no, it is. It's wonderful, and it. Thank God, not often it ends the wrong way. Normally, it's reacted to pretty quickly. So absolutely brilliant. Folks, everyone in the chat, thank you very much. Again, just don't forget, obviously, it's the 35th anniversary of the Hillsborough disaster. So our thoughts, prayers, condolences, everything that we can send in any way, positivity in any way, to all those people that were affected by it. We walked by the memorial yesterday, so poignant and stuff like that. Went down, seeing the little wall, the Champions Wall, myself and Ben are on the Champions Wall beside Stevie G.
Mad, early.
So we seen that yesterday as well. So it was nice to see that because that had got vandalised and they had to put it back again.
Jesus,
But
go
that's
back.
just the way it goes and stuff like that. But yeah, no, we had a good time, and it was just, as I said, the road trips are great and stuff like that. So,
Early. And I put on the Hogan Elite Trophy here Insta. I put up a post about the '97 there earlier on and stuff. So I just said it
and I
doesn't matter
have
who
to
you
say,
support.
I was on Twitter today, and every team puts it out there. The respect is just phenomenal and stuff like that. And it's a day to reflect, really, for those people who come out with like tragedy and hate chants and stuff like that. No, it's a day for them to, take a look in the mirror and think about what you're doing and maybe grow up a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's still extremely fresh 35 years on in most people's minds.
Yeah.
I remember watching it. I couldn't believe what was unfolding. And very, very sad. And, to this day, people's lives are still absolutely destroyed.
And,
So,
you have to feel for the families of the victims as well. The fight they've had to have for justice, which they shouldn't have had to. They should have been able to grieve, properly, and they haven't been able to because of all the fighting they've done against the government, the police, the media. Well, one media in particular over there. So, it was.
and the fight continues.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say, and it is, and you're talking about 35 years later, and that's ridiculous. Like what they've had to go through, but I said it on the thing earlier, but the whole football community is behind them. It's not just Liverpool as a city or as a fan base. Everyone is behind them. But I was reading earlier, it's mad. Like the Munich air disaster happened at 6 minutes past three, and the Hillsborough disaster just happened obviously a few minutes after three as well. It's mad how these things are kind of like
It was
uh,
actually, I was going up in the car. We were traveling up to Manchester, myself and Darren in the car, and the conversation came up. Obviously, we were talking about Hillsborough and stuff like that. And the conversation came up about how intrinsically linked we both are as
Yeah,
clubs.
yeah,
And I made the point as well that isn't it mad? Like there's about 30 odd miles between the two cities, if you like, separated by a road and a motorway,
yeah,
basically.
yeah,
And it's mad to think that those two clubs have been two of the most successful clubs in the history of
yeah,
football,
yeah.
and
It's
yet
mad.
separated by 30 miles. And I was saying to Darren, when you think of all the clubs down in London, so many clubs and the saturation and all that kind of stuff, and these two clubs located where they
Yeah,
are two of the most successful clubs in the
it's
history of the
mad, isn't
game,
it? Like,
separated by 30 miles or
yeah.
whatever. It's mad, so it's crazy, and it's unbelievable. So
The M62 is it the M62? I could be wrong.
I think is it 62 or I can't remember the numbers. Or 62 or 63. And Darren was telling me the story. Remember about Neville? Fergie
Oh,
sent Neville to talk to Gerrard,
yeah.
and he said he'd walk down the what's the road or the avenue or the road.
Down, is this when he was trying to get him to sign for United? Is it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then Neville went in and asked Stevie, and Stevie said no chance, lad, or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah,
Neville,
yeah, yeah. They were on England
Neville
duty together. Yeah, I
Fergie,
think
he went back
Stevie
straight to
said it
sign.
in a autobiography or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, very very cool. But no, it was good banter in the car, and we really
Yeah,
enjoyed it. And we were driving down that motorway and down that road and stuff.
yeah, yeah. Class.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, listen, folks, if you can, make sure you're liking on the way out. Hit a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification. I'll be back tomorrow night, one day early, folks, for Pro Wrestling Weekly. So you're getting it on Tuesday instead of Wednesday this week. We'll be back on Thursday with Darren for Thursday Gear Talk. And we'll be the usual round of previews and all that kind of stuff for the football at the weekend as well. Talk to you again real soon. Appreciate it. And thank you for joining us tonight. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, cuz.